Okay, I've tried to start this video 3 times, so I know it's gonna be spicy because whenever I have a challenge of really getting a video going, whether it's technology or just emotions, I know that there's something that wants to come through. So I just want to start this video with so much love and so much centering. This is all coming from a place in my heart and deep in my womb and channeled from up above and deeply rooted in the earth, from a place of knowing that this conversation is vital at this time. Now more than ever, part of my work in this world is speaking to men and women and others who've been in scenarios of sexual abuse, sexual assault, rape, specifically within spiritual communities. Now, I was raised in a religious community, so I know very well that just because you have spirit in your life, just because you claim to be a spiritual person, just because you claim to be a spiritual teacher, that does not make you a good person. I want to be very clear with that. And on the other side, just because someone isn't spiritual or isn't in a spiritual community doesn't mean that they're a bad person. What I have noticed recently on an overwhelming level is within our spiritual communities, within our ecstatic dance communities, within our spiritual music communities, within our festival communities, within our sacred medicine communities, there are people in power who are taking advantage of their power. And the majority of these people, not all of them, but the majority of these people are men. And the majority of these people situate themselves as a religious or spiritual leader in some way. So I'm speaking as a medicine woman. I'm speaking as a spiritual coach. I'm speaking as a soul mentor for badass, magical women, leaders, mentors in this world. And there's not a council. There's not an ethics board of committee that I can go to have this conversation. So I'm coming to you, Facebook. I'm coming to you, my sisters, brothers, and others, to have this conversation about ethics, because there are people in spiritual leadership who are taking advantage of others, whether it's emotionally, financially, spiritually, or sexually. And I'm here to say we're done. Are you with me? Because if we really want to stand forward to shift the paradigm, if we really want to be able to allow ourselves to get out of the old paradigm of rescuer, perpetrator, and victim, we have to start looking at the places where we have been involved with that personally. So today is really about calling in the women. This is about calling in the women. And the title of today's Wild Woman Rhapsody is How Sacred Women Rape Themselves. And I'm going to share some stories with you about how I've raped myself, how I've put myself in scenarios that I knew were dangerous in order to get something, how my sense of lack, how my lack of connection to source had me grab for resource. And when I grab for resource and I'm no longer connected to source, my compass of what's good and not good for me is no longer there. And I open myself to vulnerabilities. I open myself to possibilities of being taken advantage of. Now, ladies, I want to be really clear, and men, if you've been assaulted, that it ultimately is not your fault. The individual who makes the decision to not get consent from you before touching you, they're the ones who need to be held accountable. And usually, I would say in 88% of the cases that I've been personally involved with as the victim of sexual assault, I could feel it before it actually happened. I knew they were creepy. I knew they weren't good for me. I knew they had ulterior objectives. But there was something in there that hooked me, that wanted me to get in. And it was usually a number of things. It was either money, attention, or thinking that they were actually the one. And I would encroach my space. My body was screaming no. Here's the thing, ladies. If your body is screaming no, or even just kind of like, I'm not so sure about this. If your body is not a fuck yes, it's a fuck no. If your body is not a holy yes, it's a holy no. Sisters, stop putting yourself in scenarios where you become the victim. You can feel it. You're stronger than that. And for all these women who tell me how sensitive they are, how many extrasensory perceptions they have, and in the same breath, they're able to talk about the sexual assault that just happened last night. Sister, time to take responsibility. You could feel it. And it's time to step forward and really say, wow, I could feel it. And now I can step forward with my story. It's also time for us to step forward and name those who are assaulting us. Because guess what? They don't stop. They don't stop. With you, it doesn't stop. If you've been sexually assaulted by someone, guaranteed they've also sexually assaulted someone else. There's this big thing about the sacred slut coming out. And while I think it's important for us to embrace our sexuality, ladies, and be in the juice of who we are, and do your 8-week, sexuality programs, you don't know shit about Sacred Slut until you've claimed your prostitute and you've gotten over being a victim. If you are still looking for a man for his money, you have no business talking about being a sacred slut. Until you have connected to Source fully and you are no longer needing resources from anyone in your exterior world, you cannot enter into the sacred slut world without putting yourself in danger, because you're still looking for resource. And when you're looking for resource, you put yourself in the victim mode. Until you are fully connected to Source and channeling that on your own, you cannot, in a healthy way, really activate your sacred slut and do the work in sexuality that does not also trigger the victim, perpetrator, rescuer model. Bottom line, step away from the sacred slut, ladies. Stop teaching your tantra courses. Walk away from the tantra classes that are telling you you need to open your legs in order to find liberation. No. You on your own with your own practice. Tantra, in its basic form, is a solitary practice until the end of one's life. The partner practice doesn't happen until you're highly advanced. And usually, within Sacred Tantra, it is one partner. One. And all of these polyamory Tantra pujas, it makes me go crazy. Crazy, because what I see there are sexually deviant people who are ill, taking advantage of early 20s new age bunnies who want attention. That's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm feeling. And it's making me sick. I'm tired of it. And I can say this with all respect and all love, because I'm claiming my place as one of those new age bunnies. I was that 20-year-old girl who walked into a Tantra puja and had no idea what was going on and got laid down and touched by people that I didn't want to have touched by the San Diego Tantra community. I was a 23-year-old woman when the medicine man that I was sitting with took me outside of the ayahuasca circle and did Olympia on me that was very sexually inappropriate. It was sexual assault. I was 24 years old when I was sexually assaulted by a musician who took me back to his room and seduced me and gave me a substance in the morning. I had no idea what happened. I was that woman in the spiritual community who was led in my desire to connect, in my desire to know, in my desire to be more intimate with people. I went down things that did not feel fully right in my body because I did not have a guide. I did not have a leader. I did not have women who were having this conversation with me, because too many women are still in this behavior. Too many women I know right now are sleeping with men in order to get their rent for their house paid. I've never slept with a man, but I did do sexual activities with a man who was paying my rent for 3 months. I was 25 years old. Ladies, if you are exchanging your body for resources, you are in the prostitute and victim model. Ladies, if you are exchanging your body for resources, you are in the prostitute and victim model. And you cannot have the conversation about sacred slut, because there's nothing sacred about that. If your body becomes a tool for what it is that you channel for resources, that is prostitution. And that old paradigm is what gets women raped and killed. And I'm saying it. And it's hard to say because it's not a fun conversation to have. And we want there to be an open spiritual community, and we want there to be open sexuality. But we are not, as a humanity species, not mature enough yet until we as women claim the part of us that is a prostitute, the part of us that would still be willing to dance on a stage for cheering men, the part of us that would still give up a part of ourselves in order to have more resources, the part of us that's afraid that we can't make money on our own, the part of us that isn't confident in our gifts. Until we are ready to face the part of us that hates ourselves, until we are ready to face the part of us that loathes our lower belly, until we are ready to face the part of us that still wraps us up in corsets and still does diets and still does stupid shit like water fasts only to lose weight, until we can face the part of us that hates ourselves, we cannot have the conversation about sacred sluts. We are not there yet, ladies. And you need to back off the creeps. Back off of them. If it smells weird to you, back the fuck off. This is deep intuition. This is instinct. This isn't about your mind knowing if he is right or wrong. This is about if you're in the field and it's not a holy yes for every single feeling in your body, get the fuck out of there. Ladies, you're putting yourself in scenarios where you're getting raped. Boundaries are something only you can create with yourself. Boundaries are not something you give to someone else. Hey, don't hate on water fast to lose weight. Oh, I'm going to hate on water fast to lose weight because you're shrinking yourself. Every woman who's trying to lose weight is shrinking herself energetically. Until we come into alignment that what we actually want is connection to source, until you start to utilize your body as God instead of trying to beat it up in order to get to God, you can do a water fast, but it's the perspective that you're taking. And most women are not healthy enough internally to do a water fast. It takes a lot of meditation. It takes time with yoga. It takes time healing your relationship with food before you can do a water fast. If you're still trying to lose weight doing a water fast, you're not doing it for the right reason. Water fasts are to connect you to God. That's a spiritual practice. If you're doing it to lose weight, it's like doing yoga just to get in shape. It is an abomination to the practice. Go do aerobics, right? Go do Herbalife. But don't tell your friends that you're doing a fast if you're just trying to lose weight. And this is me speaking to me, ladies. If any of you out there are getting triggered, great, because this is triggering me, because I'm speaking to myself. I've done all of this shit. I've done all of this shit. So this isn't coming from a place of me knowing better, me telling you what to do. This is me telling you I am finally in a place where I can look at my diet and actually say, oh, I'm going to alter some things based on how it feels for my body, and not because I'm trying to lose that extra 10 pounds once again, or because I'm going to Burning Man and I would love to look like a skinny stick figure in the silhouette of my Burning Man pictures, or because I would really love to look super fancy for this event that I'm going to. Right? We just have to stop lying to ourselves, ladies. That's all. Do whatever you want. Just don't lie the fuck about it. If you're going to do a water fast to lose weight, say I'm doing a water fast to lose weight. Don't call it a fast, though. Right? A diet or a restriction diet. A fast is a spiritual practice that you eliminate certain things in your life in order to be more connected to God, in order to understand source. But if you are using the word of source in order to navigate your resources, whether it be food or money, shame on you. And I don't shame on anyone. Maybe I'll retract that. That's a strong spell. It's more about us coming into alignment with what we're actually saying we're doing, what we're doing, and knowing in our deep instinct what is true for us, ladies, right? And we can feel, we have an instinct. It's deep. I'm tired of the word intuition. No one knows what the fuck that means anyways. Everyone's going around saying, my intuition says this, my Saint Germain says this, my energies say this. What does your body say? How does he smell to you? How does that food smell to you? How do you feel when you hold that book? What does it feel like in the temple of your electromagnetic water body, this perfect machine that we've been given to navigate our reality? That's what I want to know. I don't care what you think. I don't care what Paramahansa Yogananda said. I don't give a fuck about Yogi Bhajan. I don't care about Chief so-and-so. I don't care what tradition. I don't care what religion. I don't care how many times they've drank medicine in whatever jungle in the world. What does your body say, ladies? Your body is your Bible. Your body isn't the way to figure out things. Your body is the way. If it's a yes for you, fantastic. If it's a no for you, listen. And if you keep associating yourself with men who are offering you resources in order for your body to be there, you are a prostitute. Breathe it in. If you are showing up in front of others who say, just because of your body, I'm going to give you resources, that is prostitute energy. And it continues the cycle of rape culture, especially my spiritual new age bunnies. My sweet ladies with glitter and tiny little boob coverings. Ladies, I've been speaking to too many of your sisters who are being sexually assaulted because they're putting themselves in scenarios where men are seeing their sexualized bodies and they are sick and they're not able to hold themselves back. At every festival, we should have a booth where women can come, where men can come, where others can come and report if they've been sexually assaulted. We need safe spaces for women and children and others and men too to talk about the conversation that no one wants to talk about. Sexual assault is rampant in our world right now. And the way that we can step forward, ladies, is to first take responsibility for our bodies and not put ourselves in scenarios that we know are dangerous. Taking substances and being at a festival around predators is a dangerous scenario. And I've done it myself, and I've smelt the predators. I've watched them watching me. And now we're coming out, predators, gentlemen. We're ready to come forward and we're not afraid anymore because our instincts are in line and we're connected to source. We're learning how to source our own money. We're learning how to source our own food. We're learning how to source our own curriculum. We're not reading your Bibles anymore. We're not going to your churches anymore. We're not going to your restaurants anymore. We are learning how to become the source within ourselves, the God, Goddess I am. And until you women can step forward and say, I'm the God, Goddess I am of my own life, do not be wearing scantily clad clothing and ramping around at the festivals because we're not that free yet. We're not. And I'm speaking truth. And anyone who pretends that we are that free is either within the perpetrator, the victim, or the rescuer model. And that's that. Consent. The only time someone is allowed to touch you is if they've asked permission. Did he ask permission to stick his fingers up you? Did he ask permission to kiss you? Did he ask permission to put his arm around you? If the answer is no, then it's not consent and it's sexual assault. If he did not ask permission, it is sexual assault. If he did not ask permission, it is not consent. I want to say this to my sisters. Between the ages of 16 and 26, I was not spoken to about consent. I didn't learn about consent until the man that I'm currently with actually had a conversation with me about it. He asked me if he could kiss me the first time. And we were in a romantic scenario. I was very much energetically giving him the yes, take me vibes. And he asked if he could kiss me. If a man does not ask you to put his hand on your body, do not allow him to. This is how we shift the paradigm, ladies. We take our power back. We take our power back by reminding the men that this is the portal. Your body is the Star Trek Enterprise to the other dimensions. You are the Andromeda Circle. You are how the beings get from the other dimension to this dimension. If the men are not committed to protecting the portal, then they are not worthy of your time. If the men in your life are not committed to protecting your portal, your pussy, your vagina, your body, your heart, your mind, if the men in your life are not connected to protecting all of you, then they are not worthy of your time. Walk the fuck away. If the men in your life don't know how magical you are, if the men in your life are not willing to see you as the queen of your existence, then you need to walk the fuck away. Because the reason the men are getting away with this is because there are women letting them get away with this. The reason men think that they can go forward without consent is because a woman hasn't stopped them and said, hey buddy, when you put your hand on me like that and you don't ask permission, that doesn't feel good. Hey, this conversation's actually ending because the way you're looking at my breasts right now makes me really fucking uncomfortable, brother. More yoga for you. Actually, no more yoga. Can you go talk to a woman, an older woman? That's another thing. Elders, women elders, we need your help. We need you to step forward with us. We need your guidance so deeply. We need older women in our culture. I'm calling for my mother, my own mother. I've watched her get touched, be spoken to without consent. So this is in all of us, right? This is from our mothers. This is from the older women. This is from the women that we've learned. I want to say one more thing about boundaries. Boundaries, women, are the things that you decide that are yes or no for your body. Yes, I'm going to allow someone to do this. No, I'm not going to allow someone to do that. Boundaries are what you set for you. Boundaries are not what you set for another person. Boundaries are what you set for you. And for me, it's a feeling. When I start to get tight on the right-hand side of my body, when it starts to clench just a little bit, that's my boundary. That means my energy is being sucked away from me in some way, and I don't care from where or whom. I don't have to know in my head. I just know I need to either remove myself from that scenario or energetically pull back from the people around me for a moment. That's how you create a boundary, ladies. Boundaries are from you, for you. They're not for other people. They're not for you to run around dictating what people should do in your life. Boundaries are the way that you get to protect and enhance your life. Finally, if this video moves you, please share it. This is a very important conversation that we as sacred women need to come forward and start saying, what are the ways that we have raped ourselves and what are the ways that we are no longer willing to rape ourselves? Because it's happening in our spiritual communities, in our awakening communities, in our religious communities, and I'm tired of this bullshit. It's been happening for thousands of years. As a descendant of the witches of Western Europe, I am here to declare that we as women of the earth, indigenous women of the plants of this earth, are here to claim our space as leaders and connections to source. And we are here to partner with all the other sisters and all the other men and all the others in order to lead an evolutionary step towards unconditional love and unconditional non-judgment, where the predator, the perpetrator, where the victim, the prostitute, where the rescuer, the fake savior, where that paradigm, that delta of the ego is eliminated. And we all get to step into presence together using our deep instincts and our laser sharp minds that is in service to our heart. I love you. Please leave any questions that you have, any comments. I will answer all of them. If you're just joining us for the video, I'm just finishing up now. So please start at the beginning and watch this. Sacred women, it's time to step forward and respect your God, your body, your temple. This isn't the way to God. This is God. This isn't the way to heaven. This is heaven. We don't know where we came from, and we don't know where we're going. We serve the great mystery in the lineage of nature women, of witches. And in that knowing, we know this moment is a miracle. This moment is precious. So step forward, sisters. When you feel uncomfortable, say, fuck no. Because it's not just about you anymore. Every time you say yes when you want to say no, that's giving that person, that's giving the perpetrator permission to do it again. So if you can be strong enough, if you actually want to be a badass woman in your life, learn how to say no to a brother who's coming on to you. Learn how to say no to another who's coming on to you when you don't want it. If you actually want to be connected to source, learn how to say yes when you mean yes and no when you mean no. And that's how you manifest your dreams. You want to know how to manifest? Learn your fucking boundaries. You want to learn how to manifest money? Learn how to say no to all the shit that's sucking the energy out of your life. And that's how you'll create wealth in your life. I love you. Please leave your comments, questions below. You can PM me. I don't answer a lot of my private messages. I will most likely answer questions right here below. Share this video. This is a conversation we need to have with other women, men, and others. That's about it. I was going to talk a little bit about how the war of the sexes and witchcraft go together, but I'm going to save that for a whole other video because that in and of itself is another rhapsody. I love you. Light to all, peace to all, love to all. Peace.